The world remembers many wars, but some battles vanish into silence, buried under the weight of time, politics, and fear. This is the story of a war almost no one talks about, a war that quietly decided the future of nations, rewrote alliances, and shaped the world we live in today. This is the forgotten war that shaped our future. It began in a remote region surrounded by mountains so tall they scraped the sky, a place where civilizations had risen and fallen without leaving a trace. For decades, the area was considered insignificant, too barren to control, too isolated to matter. But deep beneath its soil lay something that would change everything: rare earth minerals, the kind used in advanced weapons, satellites, and technology that would dominate the next century. When the first discovery report leaked, it triggered a silent storm. No official declaration, no public broadcasts, no parades of soldiers marching across borders. Instead, it started with shadows, unmarked convoys moving through mountain passes, anonymous aircraft hovering just beyond radar, intelligence networks waking from their long sleep. The first clash didn't happen on a battlefield. It happened in the dark, two teams of special operatives sent by rival nations to secure a mining site. Neither side knew the other was there. What followed was a 10-minute exchange of gunfire that would set the tone for the next 4 years. No witnesses, no survivors, no records, only silence. As months passed, the conflict grew, but the world remained unaware. Soldiers were deployed under training missions. Supplies were labeled as research equipment. Families of the fallen were told their loved ones died in accidents. The truth was too valuable, too dangerous to reveal. Inside the war zone, the landscape itself became a weapon. Blizzards swallowed entire units. Avalanches buried fortifications. On some nights, the cold was so brutal rifles froze in the hands of the men who held them. Yet both sides pushed forward, building hidden bases, tunnels, and supply lines deep beneath the earth. Commanders knew this war would never appear in history books, but its outcome would decide global power for generations. One of the turning points came during the winter of the third year. A small task force of 20 men was ordered to hold a narrow pass, just 20 soldiers standing between a hidden facility and an approaching armored unit. They were outnumbered 12-1. They knew reinforcement wouldn't arrive. They knew retreat meant surrendering the last operational mine, and they knew most of them would not survive. Still, they held their ground. For 36 hours, they fought in freezing winds and darkness, firing until their ammunition ran dry, and then fighting with whatever they had left. When the final shot was fired, only 3 of them were still alive. But the pass remained under their control. That one battalion, reported unnamed, shifted the balance of the entire war. Diplomats would later negotiate peace without ever acknowledging the real conflict. But behind closed doors, new agreements were signed, resource rights were divided, and silent promises were made, promises that determined who would lead in technology, who would dominate future warfare, and which nations would rise or fall in the decades to come. Today, we live in a world shaped by that hidden struggle. Our devices, our networks, our defenses, all trace back to decisions made in the shadows of a war no textbook mentions. A war fought by soldiers whose names remain classified. A war denied by governments that benefited from its outcome. A war that changed everything, yet officially never happened. This is why we call it what it truly was: the forgotten war that shaped our future.